Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 11. We got the double ones here today on the podcast. It is Sunday night, a late Sunday night. Drew, I screwed everything up with Bandits today, but the Manitowoc Bandits have won the 2021 Play Ball Tournament, the first ever Play Ball Tournament. They beat Branch 4-0 and then beat Little Shoot. It was Bandits versus the Bandits in the finals. They beat Little Shoot 7-0, 2 shutouts, 2 beautiful wins by this Bandits team. They are your 2021 Play Ball Tournament champions. What an honor. I mean, that it was a long day, and I didn't even think they were going to get the games in because of the rain, but played through it, made the most of it, and they won the tournament. So, that said, a long-winded introduction. My name is Jordon Lawrenz, and I'm joined alongside the one and only Drew Skyberg.
It's great to be back. Episode 11, we just had that great interview last Thursday with the Bucks Believer. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't. And we got a few more things out coming your way with the Summer Sports Spectacular, June 2nd.
Boy, oh boy, it is getting close. We gotta start getting on that. I mean, I was gonna propose a date to you when we started recording, but it's over a week. It's a week and a half away, basically. At this point, we are getting close. I cannot wait. I start some summer classes today, so that'll be fun. Nice little 4-week classes. But like Drew said, that Bucks Believer interview, boy, oh boy. If not the best thing we've done, it is up there. Top 3. That March Madness. I mean, those are the best 2 right out of the gate. I think our Robert Shimmick interview was pretty good. I thought episode 10 was spectacular. So we've got a lot of things up there. And my goodness, the YouTube views on episode 10 through the roof. I don't know where this came from, but we are doing big numbers on YouTube and keep it that way. Subscribe to us on there. And we got an Instagram, Drew. Jordan Drew underscore, right? That's the word, underscore, sports crew.
Yep.
I mean, it is. We're going to post a lot of stuff. Thank you all for following us already on there. I think we got 20 some followers and
a mighty 23 followers we have right now. Let's go.
That's not bad. It's a good little start. And Apple Podcast, I'm going to look right now. I'm not sure if we reached 20 reviews yet, but we are close. We are at 19. Oh, we're still at 19. You guys are really bringing us down. Only 19 Apple Podcast reviews. Get us to 20.
Let's
after
go.
This episode. We had 3 podcasts last week. We had the UFC recap, episode 10, and the Bucks interview. We are putting out the content and coming soon, Summer Sports Spectacular. So follow up from last week. It was the Yankees and the Browns on this day. And we were like, who are the Browns? What are these Browns teams? And I did a little research. The St. Louis Browns were a Major League Baseball team that originated in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So, I mean, I don't know how we didn't know that, but it says the Brewers moved to St. Louis after the 1901 season, where they played 52 years as the St. Louis Browns. So, obviously, St. Louis Browns are no longer. It is the St. Louis Cardinals, but that is not what happened. They became the Baltimore Orioles. So, I mean, St. Louis Browns go to Baltimore Orioles. They didn't go to the St. Louis Cardinals. I found that intriguing, but glad we got that out of the way, figured out what that was. And my other little bit of follow-up from last week. So I mentioned MLB The Show, right? And I said you can only have 1 save, and that is partially true. So I figured out there is a section where you can find your other Road to the Show. So I click on it. Guy's got a different name. It's a completely different person. But when I play that Road to the Show, it looks the same as the other guy. So I think you can only have 1 player, but it still used a different name and he still played the different positions. So I don't understand why you can only have 1 guy who looks one way, but that's how it is, I guess. Unless, like I said, unless I'm totally doing something wrong, I'll have to figure it out. But I mean, I have 2 different saves. One's a left fielder, one's a 2-way player as a closer and a third baseman. And they're both the same person with a different name. Does that make sense, Drew?
That does not. That's like I said last week. I'm thinking the current gen. They don't care about it. They're all about the next gen, the PS5. So maybe you contact Sony San Diego Studios and see, like, hey, what's going on here? Fix my Road to the Show.
I'll tell them I'm a big shot and I have a podcast, and they better listen to me. We'll see how that works out. I don't think it will work out well. So let's move on to the stats of the week. The first stat is not even a sports stat. It is something I found, and I just found it extremely intriguing. In 2020 alone, There were over 1.75 million podcasts, and only 50% of them made it to the 7th episode. So, Drew, congratulations to us.
Let's
We are
go.
better than, what is that, 800,000 podcasts?
Yeah,
I mean,
over that. Yeah. And we
yeah,
are go us. We've made it to 11 even. So, yeah.
And think about all the bonus episodes we still have and the bonus episodes to come. We're doing well. And we were talking about going to baseball games, so we'll have more bonus episodes. I mean, this is going to be the best summer ever. And our other stat of the week, this is my boy Jason Tatum. And MLB no-hitters are crazy this year. There has never been a no-hitter in MLB and an NBA player scoring 50 points on the same night until this season. And it happened twice. So let me re-say this one more time so we can make sense out of it. In MLB, no one has ever thrown a no-hitter while on the same night a player in the NBA has scored 50 points. So those two things have not happened on the same night ever until this season, because Jason Tatum has been the man to score 50 points both times. And one of those was that play-in game against the Wizards. Boy, oh boy, did he step up. But I just thought that was a fantastic stat. And Drew, we'll talk about it more coming up. But baseball, no hitters, what is going on this year? There are so many.
Yeah, and the main reason for that being, I don't know if you've heard about this, Jordan, with the whole baseball, they
Dejuiced them.
unjuiced the baseball, and I mean we're seeing it because I got some stats about that too, where there are like only a couple teams batting over 250 this year, and like there's like the Brewers are almost at 200. They're at like 211, 212 for a team batting average, which is atrocious, and the Mariners are actually under 200, and they've been no hit twice this year. So I mean that is not good.
There's been 6 no-hitters and only 3 teams have been no-hit, if I remember right, because I think they all got no-hit twice. And I mean, let's real quick, before we get to on this day, dejuicing the baseball, let's talk about it here for a minute. What are your thoughts? Because sure, it's cool to have nice pitcher battles here and there, but at this rate, we're going to have 50 no-hitters. And at this rate, we're not going to be seeing nearly as much as excitement, because I like seeing teams hit the ball. I mean, I don't like 10-run games every single game, but I also don't like every game being 2-1. So like, can they adjust it next year again, please? Like put a little more into it so it's not as juiced as last year. But I thought last year was fun.
Yeah, I enjoy the home runs, and I think the whole idea of juicing the baseball was great because it kind of brought the fans, it brought the younger audience back into the game, because who doesn't love watching home runs? And we like the past few years how they kept setting the the MLB single season record, like when the Twins set that
going up
in 2019, the home runs just kept going up. And now this year, I got to correct my stat because there's only 7 teams batting above 250 right now. And in 2019, there were 15 teams batting above 250. And in 2001, there were 27 teams batting above 250.
Oh my Lord.
So if just looking at that right now, and that's just batting average, that's not even home runs. Like strikeouts are up, home runs are down, average is down, and it's not good, man. It's you're losing the younger audience. That same younger audience you try to capture, like even a few years ago, they're losing because of the unjuicing of the balls. So I'm with you. I'm not a big fan of this at all.
They're just appealing to pitchers who are complaining that they got too many home runs hit. That's it. I mean, I don't like it. I'd rather see all these games. Like you said, a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old kid, if they see dudes hitting home runs twice a game, they're going to be like, I want to do that, and I want to play, and I want to come to games. So, I mean, it's only hurting them in the end, business-wise, I would have to assume. But let's go to On This Day. It is a baseball-themed On This Day. Everything involves baseball. On this day in 1918, Cleveland Indians' Stan Kovetski sets a club record, here we go with this again, for most innings pitched, 19 innings, as the Indians beat the Yankees 3-2. Drew, we saw this last week too. I mean, these guys are insane.
These guys are workhorses indeed. Like the 19 innings in one game. Oh, his arm must have been shot after that.
I'm pretty sure it was the Cubs last week the guy who did 18 2/3, and now this guy's doing 19. Unbelievable. On this day in 1929, the Detroit Tigers beat the Chicago White Sox 6-5 in 21 innings. Do we have a guess on how long that game went? 6 hours?
My guess, 6.5 hours.
I don't have the actual time. It's just a guess at this point, but I mean, I would not watch that game. 21 innings, I'd be gone after probably the 12th.
I might stick around, because I like when they start putting position players or they have to put like the pitcher in the outfield or like stuff like that happens. I think that's always good
Correct.
fun to watch. So
If it's like
I
a
might stick around.
if it's a 1 p.m. in the afternoon game, it probably would have ended like, and it would have been fine. But if this wasn't one of those games that started until 7, 8 o'clock, I mean,
Oh
there's no
boy.
way I would have been able
Oh
to stay
boy.
up. Yeah, no way. So also I should mention the date today is May 24th. So when we're talking about on this day, I forget to mention it sometimes. So on this day in 1930, the one and only Babe Ruth homers in both games of a doubleheader, giving him 9 home runs in 1 week. Babe Ruth, oh my goodness. On this day in 1935, the first Major League night baseball game. So I guess that answers our question about the Tigers and White Sox. Must have happened during the day, but that is in Cincinnati. The Reds beat the Phillies 2-1. The first night game didn't happen until 1935. 1 year later, on this day, 1936, Tony Lazzeri hits 2 grand slams with 11 RBIs, and Ben Chapman sets a record by reaching first 7 times safely as the Yankees beat the A's 25-2. This just happened, right? Didn't the Braves put up like 20 runs this
Yeah, they
week?
put up 20 runs, but they didn't put up 25. And Tony Lazzeri, he would have been a fantasy baseball god that game. Imagine having him in your DraftKings. You do a daily lineup. Imagine having that guy.
Imagine, yeah. I would have won first place for sure. You wouldn't have even needed anyone else besides him. And then on this day in 1964, the longest home run in Baltimore Memorial Stadium, Harmon Killebrew from the Minnesota Twins goes 471 yards. Big blast from him. And let's go right to it. Weekly sports talk, moving on. We're talking about baseball last. So, but I just thought all those baseball things, there's besides baseball for on this day this week, there wasn't a whole lot of good things. So I just said, we're just going to make a theme out of it. Let's do all baseball. So we did that. And now, weekly sports talk segment where we talk all things sports. And last week, we basically covered everything and more. We did high school, NHL, NBA, MLB, NFL. We talked about it all. And why don't we add boxing into the mix this week? Because Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder are set for the trilogy. And Drew, if you remember, weeks ago, I was talking about Fury and Joshua, how that was the fight and they had so many days to get it done, blah, 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 blah. That didn't happen. I was shocked to see this. Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder's trilogy fight is set for July 24th in Las Vegas. It doesn't make any sense to me why the Joshua fight isn't taking place. I don't know. Some people are saying Tyson Fury's a little scared of Joshua and he's kind of ducking him, but that what I want to see now, right? I'm a big Fury guy, so I want to see Fury beat Wilder again because Wilder in the last fight, the dude said he had 40 pounds of gear on his way to the ring and that cost him and he was tired. Like, that's probably one of the dumbest excuses I've ever heard in my life. So I want to see Fury get the win because these two went to a draw the first time. I mean, come on. I say it's rigged for money, and that first time was the draw. So technically, if Wilder wins this fight, they're going to have to go to a fourth fight to really settle it because it'll be draw, Fury, Wilder. They would need a fourth fight, which is blows my mind. But Anthony Joshua might be fighting Usyk, and that's very weird because I just want to see Usyk beat Joshua, and then this Fury Joshua fight never happens, and then Joshua's out all this money. I just think it would be funny if something happens badly and then we never get Joshua Fury. As much as a good fight and a big fight that would be for the sport, they didn't book it now. So whatever. I just want to see it blow up in their face, and I want to see it cost them. We'll see what happens for sure there. So let's talk some hockey, right? We got a lot of
Yeah.
playoffs on our plate at once. NBA, NHL, they're all happening here, and this is a wild, 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 wild slate of hockey. And I don't even mean that as a pun for the Minnesota Wild. We'll talk about them, but yesterday, I should say, the Nashville Predators tied the series with the Carolina Hurricanes 2-2. The Nashville Predators, 2 wins, are both in double overtime. These games are insane. The Maple Leafs and Canadiens series is tied 1-1. By now, we'll know if the Bruins and the Avalanche have advanced in the series. Currently, as we're recording, both teams are playing. The Avalanche are up 3-2 on the Blues with under 2 minutes to go. So we might have a live update as to who wins that game or if it goes to overtime. Bruins and Capitals are tied at 0. They're in the first period, but the Bruins are leading 3-1 in that Capital series. We both picked the Boston Bruins. I mean, you picked them to go all the way.
Yes, sir. They're gonna do it. Go Bruins.
We'll see about that. But before we get to the Wild, some other things. Islanders and Penguins. This has been a great series. So scrappy. I mean, these guys fighting left and right. That tied it to the Tampa Bay Lightning. My pick to repeat and win the Stanley Cup again. They're up 3-1 over the Panthers. The Winnipeg Jets are up 2-0 over the Oilers. And I think that covers it all because Minnesota Wild down 3-1. Drew, listen to this. The Wild won 1-0 in the first game of the playoffs. There was an overtime goal, which won the game. Game 2, Wild are up 2-0. No. That was game 3, I believe. They were up 2-0. I don't even remember at this point. They all go together. Regardless, the Wild are down 3-1 in this series. They lost, let's see. They won 1-0. Yeah, they lost 3-1. And then they lost 5-2 and then lost 4-0. This Wild team has not scored a goal in the second or third period yet this series. This is terrible.
That is not good so far, and hopefully they can turn it around because I did pick them to upset in the first round, so let's go.
I mean, they play tonight, 9:30 p.m., a little past your bedtime, but that's when they play because of Vegas, so we'll have to see if they can stay alive. I am very worried for this team. You've got to be able to score. They looked so good. They held Vegas to like 4 shots on goal in the first period in one game. And then the next period, they come out and score like 4 goals. It's frustrating is one word for it. But I said, it's the Wild curse. These guys just can't make it past the first round, no matter what it is. And that's that. I got nothing else to say about the Wild. Let's talk some NBA. The playoffs just got underway. We did our interview with Clay and we all said Bucks in 5-6, something like that. Game 1, it was close. The Heat came out early. They were hot. Duncan Robinson, I believe, hit like 3 threes to start the game. I think it was Duncan. And then the Heat led until about a few minutes left in the second quarter. That's when the Bucks got their first lead. This was my first time watching a full NBA game in probably 3 years. And I'm not even kidding when I say that. But Jimmy Butler, I'm not a fan of the dude at all. I just don't like him. But he was not really that great. 17 points he had in this game, playing 46 minutes. It went to overtime because Giannis decided not to play defense and just gave Jimmy Butler a wide open lane for the layup. Also, in basketball, in NBA, do they ever call 3 seconds or do they ever call lane violations on a free throw?
They do not really call 3 seconds is something you hardly see called, at least from what I've watched this year. And the lane violation, I've actually seen that called a couple of times, but I guess you didn't see it that game. And no, you see it more in college, I know. But
yeah, college and high school, I guess maybe they watch more. I don't know, but I swear every single time a free throw is shot, someone would move early and they didn't do anything. And they called 10 seconds on Giannis at one point because he didn't get the free throw off. And I counted, you have to do like the on your chest, the 1, 2, 3. I counted, and I was at 7. So I don't know what official was counting. I didn't see anyone going at it. Well, and then also people were saying Butler didn't get the layup off in time at the end of the game. I didn't really see an issue with that, but I thought that was clean. Just Bucks complaining. But Drew, Bucks win by 2 thanks to Chris Middleton with the big shot.
Oh, for sure. And that was my main thing about that game. I think the Bucks, they played sloppy, but they still came out with the dub. So I thought that was great to see. And like you just mentioned, Middleton with the game winner with 0.5 seconds left over Duncan Robinson. That was a phenomenal shot. I have a Chris Middleton as good shirt, so I mean I'm definitely wearing that today. So if you see me in school, I will probably have that on. And yeah, the Giannis 10-second free throw violation. Also, I want to go back to that was an interesting call to say the least. He's never been called for it this year. He's certainly been close because I know you said you didn't watch a lot of games, Jordan, but he always takes his time on those free throws. He just goes and goes.
And it doesn't help either because he still sucks.
He still is not a great free throw shooter. He's a little below average right now. And the Heat you could see the Heat on the sidelines. They were like Eric Spoelstra, the Heat head coach, is telling the head official, like, hey, you got to be watching this. So their bench definitely played an influence on that call happening. And it happened with like 3 minutes left in the game. It wasn't like it happened like in the second quarter. It was a crucial part of the game, and they called that, and that blew my mind. And another thing was the Butler, like you mentioned, the game tying shot, how Giannis kind of went off him. I don't know if you remember, but in the bubble last year, the Heat won a game with game-winning free throws because of a foul call at the end.
Yes.
So that could have been, like some memories, and that's why Giannis kind of backed off, I think.
That
But
happened this season too, right? You sent me like a clip or you said watch the end of this and tell me if it's a foul or not.
yeah, I think I did because that was actually the game. The Bucks believer, he went to a game and it ended with free throws.
That was the
The
one.
Suns game, the Bucks Suns game, and that was a crappy ending. And yeah, so there have been games the past year for the Bucks that have been decided because of free throws, literally at the end, like with no time.
If a game's going to be decided, it has to be done by this Chris Middleton shot. It can't be done by free throws. Like there is no more deflating way to leave a stadium than seeing your team lose a game because a foul got called at the end. And I mean, we could talk for days about referees and fouls and what they call and what they don't call, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to look playoffs fresh. Phoenix Suns beat the Lakers. They lead 1-0. Sixers over the Wizards 1-0. Blazers over the Nuggets 1-0. Nets beat the Celtics. I was very sad watching that. Saturday night, I was watching the Wild, UFC, and the Boston Celtics. I mean, it was a night, and literally everyone good lost. The Celtics lost, the Wild lost, and my boy Cody Garbrandt, he lost. So it was just terrible Saturday night. Mavericks beat the Clippers, and then the Bucks beat the Heat, as we said. So there is that. Anything on the play-in tournament you wanted to touch on? LeBron, Curry, anything? No?
Well, the play-in tournament, I watched one of the games. I can't remember which one now, but I think I watched the Warriors Grizzly playoff.
The last one
game. The last one, yeah. I don't know if I really like the play-in tournament. Because the stats don't really count for the playoffs or anything. It's just kind of games, which I don't know. I think it was kind of cool, but I'm done with it after this year. I am looking forward to these playoffs now, and we got game 2 now tonight with the Bucks, the Heat at the Bucks. So we're hoping the Bucks do well again. Hopefully they don't allow the Heat to make 15 more threes than them, like we saw.
The threes controlled the first game, and if it wasn't for them, the Heat would not have been in it.
Oh, for sure. You mentioned Duncan Robinson, Jimmy Neutron is what we call him because he looks just like Jimmy Neutron. He had a lot of threes, and they shot 40% from the three-point line. So I mean, the way they're going to try to win this series is by threes, and I think the Bucks, I think if they stay strong defensively, I think we talked about that even on our interview last Thursday. If they stay strong defensively, they got this series in 5 or 6.
Besides a few possessions, I thought defense was pretty well. Like it didn't pick up until a little later in the game, second quarter, mid whatever it was. But hey, I thought they did just fine. And speaking of doing fine, it's Scooter Henderson. This kid, 17 years old, and he has signed a $1 million deal with the G League. Can you imagine? Like this kid has said, nope, not doing college, not going straight to pros. I'm going to the G League for $1 million. I had honestly, I'd never even heard of this kid before, but boy, oh boy, he must be good if he's signing $1 million deal with the G League. I wish I could do that at 17.
Yeah, that's incredible. And like we talked about, this is the beginning of the end of like college. Like if they don't get paid, if those athletes are not going to get paid, they're going to go the G League route. We saw a guy like Jalen Green do it last year, where he said instead of going to college and playing for, like, I guess your education is basically what you're playing for. I'm going to go make some money right now. I'm going to go build my brand instead of spending those years in college, and I'm going to focus on my future and for basketball. And I don't know. I think we're seeing this a lot more and more where you just keep seeing it. And unless those athletes get paid, this is going to just keep happening, I think.
Bro, we could do a whole hour episode on if college athletes should be paid or not. I did an 8-page paper on it last year. What do you, real quick, tell me, should they be paid?
Oh, come on, Jordan.
Putting you on the spot.
I think for the money that they're bringing in, the revenue they bring in, I think they deserve at least something more than, I mean, they're getting education. Don't get me wrong. They're getting paid. They're getting paid through their education. But I think there should be they should be able to make money off their own name, like their name, like, like they're like,
oh, yeah. Likeness.
Their likeness. I think they should totally be able to make money off that, or like they should be able to sign autographs. I think that's dumb that they can't do that. Like, I don't know about getting like a salary, maybe. I think that might be a little too far, but I think they should be able to make money off their brand or name.
Good. We're basically on the same page there. Like, if Luka Garza came and did an autograph signing in Wisconsin, I'd be there. Like, dude, these guys would be huge. All the big name players. I'm certainly we could definitely discuss that, but we're gonna move on to baseball here. Albert Pujols has signed with the Dodgers, and the dude hits a home run in one of his first games. I was blown away by this signing, though. I thought Pujols for sure was going to retire, but Drew, he's a Dodger now.
Yeah, this kind of shocked me, and we saw that horrific Angels signing that occurred in in 2011 with that mega contract. He was on his last year, and then he got released. And like you said, he probably should have retired. I'm going to read you something here, Jordan.
Okay.
His career WAR, so that's the wins above replacement, which for people who don't know, that's going to be an advanced stat. And what it does, it measures a player's value in all facets of the game by deciphering how many more wins he is worth than a replacement level player at his same position. So, like, for example, Albert Pujols is a first baseman, so his position's more weighted on offense because, like, you don't really have like a fielding first baseman. Like, that's not, you got to catch the ball, But
Keston Hiura.
Yeah, like Keston here, like you can play guys like him at first. So it's a more offensively weighted position. So his WAR in his first 11 seasons at the St. Louis Cardinals was 81.2, which is a phenomenal. That's Hall of Fame, like first ballot. That's phenomenal. And then with the Angels in the past a little over 9 seasons was 5.6 cumulative WAR. So
oh my God.
That shows how horrible. And then
it's like a 14th of what he was.
Oh yeah, and plus now he's been like, even these past few years, his career WAR has gone down. So like he's been like below replacement level. So he's been below average at first, basically. And with advanced stats pointing that out, I mean the Angels finally made their choice and they let him go. But
yeah, I thought for sure this dude was done and gonna retire, but no, he's staying around. I don't know why the Dodgers signed him, but the Shohei Ohtani. Can we talk about this man? Can we please talk about this man and what he's doing this year as a pitcher? Okay, I mean he's a mighty fine pitcher. I mean he's played 6 games. He's only 1-0 though because a lot of no decisions. He started every one, got a 2.37 ERA, 45 strikeouts in 30 innings pitched, and boy, oh boy, this guy has 14 home runs, and he's a pitcher. 35 RBIs, 6 stolen bases. He's batting at 268, which is like better than the entire Brewers offense. Shohei Ohtani, I have nothing but good things to say about this man as a two-way player. The things he is doing is insane, and I don't think he's getting enough credit.
I think when you mentioned Babe Ruth in this day in sports history, he instantly came to my mind because the modern day Babe Ruth we are watching right now, ladies and gentlemen.
Nailed it.
You are seeing a guy who's throwing 101 on the gun for his fastball, and then he's hitting 450-foot home runs. Like, when have you seen that? You've never seen it. And like, none of us could watch Babe Ruth. I mean, Gary Miceli knew someone who shook his hand, who talked to him, and he shook that guy's hand. But we have not seen anyone like it since. So that's great to see.
He's only been in the league 3 years. He debuted in 2018. Like, the things this man is going to do. I saw someone say if this man was a Dodger, he would be like the most marketable player in sports because he would be on posters, he would be on billboards, he would be on commercials. And I mean, that's just looking at markets because he's stuck on the Angels right now. It's him and Mike Trout against the world. But if this man was on like a big market team like the Dodgers, undoubtedly would be one of the biggest names in the world. But other than that, I mean, Ohtani has such a bright future, and hopefully these things continue because boy, is he a treat to watch. And Drew, I know you got some other guys you wanted to talk about here real quick.
So here we go. We have a little segment I wanted to implement. It's called Drew's Views. So if you remember from Jordan and I, our WOMT days, it was this previous spring. I guess it was kind of winter still.
I just got my award, by the way. I mean, look at that thing.
Beautiful. The Wisconsin Broadcasters Association Award. And
Chris Sizzler shook my hand today, the Manitowoc coach, Bandits coach, and he said, "Congrats on the award."
That is great to hear, Mr. Lawrenz. We are all very proud of you for your award here at Jordan and Drew, the sports crew. And yeah, this segment, I'm going to just highlight some players who have been breakout candidates this year. And they've been like phenomenal guys. Might not be guys you guys have heard of, but like, I'm going to start right away. Jesse Winker is my first guy. And Boy, if you watch this Brewers and Reds series this past weekend, you will know this guy's name. He had 5 home runs in the series. He had 3 on Friday. He's been he's been phenomenal. He's batting above 350. His OPS is over 1,000. It's just he's been he's been something else this year. He's batting leadoff too as an outfielder. He's always had really that true potential, but like this year, we're just really seeing it. He's a Hank Aaron Award candidate this year. Like he's probably the front runner in the NL so far. Like offensively, he's been great. Jordan, do you have anything to say about Jesse Winker?
I haven't watched any of the Brewer games this week, but I have been keeping up and I've been seeing these numbers. And Hank Aaron Award, that's crazy. We're like a fourth of the way into the year or something like that. And if he can keep this up, he's hitting big bombs and he's batting very, very well. So we'll see what Winker can do. He's certainly a name I wasn't familiar with coming into this year.
And yeah, he was. A lot of people did not know who he was. And here's a guy that I didn't even know who or how good he was. Adolis Garcia from the Texas Rangers. Have you heard that name?
No.
He is 28 years old and he is batting 295 this year. I mean, that's very good. And then he's got 14 home runs, which is tied for second in baseball. And then he's got
Ohtani has 14 home runs.
So he must be tied with Ohtani. And then he has 37 RBIs, which he's tied for fourth. And then he's got an OPS at 950. So this guy's been an offensive threat for the Texas Rangers this year, who have not been that great statistically. He's playing right field, and he has just been something else this year for the
Rangers have never been doing that well. So it's good that they've got a guy like this to kind of build the team around.
And then I got another guy to talk about, the Yerminator, Yermin Mercedes. And I'm sure people have heard about him. We know the 3-0 incident where he swung on when a position player was pitching and he got a lot of crap for it. I don't know if you saw it, Jordan.
Yeah, the unwritten rules of baseball thing.
Yeah, which is crap. He's batting 347 this year. He's only got 6 home runs, but he's getting on base. He's hitting extra base hits. He's got 931 OPS. And he's just been a hitting machine. He's such a great hitter. I mean, I've just watched some of his highlights. He gets inside the baseball, Jordan, and he takes the ball like opposite field. He'll get singles to the right. He'll go up the middle. He'll pull the ball to the left. He's just such a great hitter. Like he understands just like what to do, like when the ball is just pitched to him. He just knows where to hit it. And it's just
situational baseball, as they say. Is he an everyday player?
Yeah, he's every day. He's been DHing for them. And
okay, yeah.
Well, he's everyday DH.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so he's been a great player. He's definitely a rookie of the year candidate. I've seen him everywhere being like rookie of the year, and he's already 28 years old. So he's a 28-year-old rookie. He's finally got his shot in the majors, and he's really just making the most of it.
I love stories like that where all these dudes who've been AAA for life, as they say, but then they finally get called up. I mean, 28 years old. You're looking at Luis Urias, he's like 23 or something like that. And I mean, these guys are young nowadays, but good for him. And please, baseball, bring universal DH back. Just give it to us.
Yeah, last year that was so much fun. We just watched the ball fly with with the DHs for both leagues. And Jordan, that's all I got for the players. So let's move on to our Brewer talk.
Brewer time, baby. Oh, breaking news. The Avalanche have swept the Blues. So Colorado Avalanche, first team to advance. They win 4-0. This team is dominant. And a lot of people are saying favorites to win the Stanley Cup. So only time will tell. But boy, oh boy, Drew Keston Hiura is back. He's batting a .438 in AAA. It took him a little bit of time to get going, but he now has 3 home runs, 7 RBI, 6 doubles, 14 hits, 8 runs, and it's in 32 at bats. So, I mean, this guy, he struck out 13 times. He almost does as many strikeouts as hits. Strikeout number is still high, but Keston Hiura seems to be back.
Yeah, he's been making solid contact again. And I don't know, I think he hit a home run today too. Like he's hit 3 straight home runs in like consecutive games. So that's been great to see. But the one guy we lost on the AAA team, I don't know if you saw this, D. Strange Gordon was
they let him go after the trade. What is this? What is up with that?
They must have had to free up a spot, or we haven't looked at his numbers, so he must have not been producing, but like
I've got him right here. He's doing pretty good.
Well,
he's batting a .333, 14 of 42. He's like, I mean, he's got as many hits as Hira and 10 more at bats. He's got 10 runs on the year, 2 doubles, a triple, a home run, 2 ribbies, only struck out 5 times. He's got 2 stolen bases, 3 walks. He's
Well,
not doing bad.
they chose Daniel Robertson over him is what I see. Cause like, I mean, Robertson had that big home run on Saturday, which was great to see, but now he's on the big league roster and they took him over D Gordon when Hira got optioned down. So I guess that's the route David Stearns wants to take, and in Stearns we trust. So I guess if D release D Gordon, we're gonna have to accept it, and we'll go from there.
We gotta trust him. There's nothing else we could do. I feel bad for the guy though. Like, what's he gonna do now? Where is D Stranger Gordon gonna go? Man changes his name and gets cut in AAA. That's really sad. But let's talk some Brewers here. I have won again in the Brewers prediction challenge. I have won 4 weeks straight. I should get a bonus pick for predicting the correct record. I would have won 2 of those, but I'm leading 4-1 in this category. Brewers go 2-3 this week. Wasn't looking good at the start of the week. Lose both games to the Royals 2-0, and then 6-4. Then they lose to the Reds right away 9-4. I'm like, dude, they're not going to get a win all week. And then they win the series. They beat the Reds 4-3 and 9-4. Big 9-run game yesterday. Brewers have Christian Yelich hitting home runs. He hit a home run. His first hit back is a home run. He was 0 of 10 to start, and this is his first home run of the year. I hate when people jump the gun like I did with Hira too and say he's back, because certainly we're going to need to see Hira hitting consistently at a big league level, and could have been a lucky shot for Yelich. I don't want to say he's back quite yet, but finally, the dude shows the power that we need him for.
Yeah, that was a good thing to see in Sunday's game. And I certainly hope that we're going to see more of that from Yelich, because if we get that bat back, this offense would get that kickstart, it needs. And then Andy Haynes we don't have to see fire Andy Haynes on Twitter anymore. We'll see extend Andy Haynes maybe, but
complete 180 on him, huh?
Yeah, that's how the media is,
That's very
sports.
true.
I mean, that's how fans are too. Like, we're all like, boo, like this team's the worst team we've seen. And then they go on a 7-game win streak and we're just cheering and saying and just praising the team. So it's just being a fan is like that,
Yeah, there's ups and downs to say the least. I mean, speaking of ups and downs, this trade, are we ready to talk about the trade or anything else from the week?
Do you want to make our predictions or you want to go trade?
We'll do trade and then we'll talk next week.
All right, let's go.
So this trade, right? Brewers acquire shortstop Willie Adames and right-handed pitcher Trevor Richards from the Rays. And who do they give up? J.P. Feyereisen and Drew Rasmussen. Sure, whatever. He's a reliever. We got plenty of relievers. Brewers give up J.P. Feyereisen for Trevor Richards. And on the surface, you see they get a shortstop. Have they given up on Luis Urias already? Because certainly it's leaning towards that way, and they've put him on second, I saw, as Adames is playing short. That's not a good sign if you're Luis Urias.
So I think Luis Urias, I think definitely he's not going to be the everyday shortstop anymore. We're going to see him. We're going to see him at third. We're going to see him at second. And we're going to see him there, of course, when Adames has a day off. But like when Wong has a day off, maybe if Shaw gets injured, Wong gets injured again, he's going to have to be that guy now where he's going to be moving around. So like
he's going to be a terrible third baseman, though. He can't make throws from short to first. How is he going to throw from third to first?
He's got a great arm. He just doesn't have the accuracy. I mean, we've seen he make some flashy plays. He's got a great arm. It's just
it's all in his head.
It must be because Brewers, but they have a lot of options now. And when Hira comes back, I think Urias might be the odd man out, because him and Urias and Daniel Robertson are kind of like in the same place right now, where they're both middle infielders. They'll play third maybe if need be, and they both are kind of just like they're going to be bench players now, and it's a bummer to see. But like, if you don't perform at this level, I mean, you're going to get replaced, and that's what's happening right now.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was going to say Robertson was that guy, and now Urias kind of falls into that same category in this trade. Is Willie going to be an everyday player for this team? I mean, we're going to see.
I think he will, and I got some stats, Jordan, I want to read you. And
please do.
Willie Adames, he's 25 years young. And Carlos Gomez also, I don't know if you saw when they traded for him, Gomez was very excited to see him in a Brewer uni, and he wanted him to wear 27, his number. So I thought that was cool to see.
A little passing of the torch.
Well, yeah. And one stat that really just opened my eyes to Willy Adames is in 2020. So, 60-game season, small sample size, but he struggled significantly at Tropicana Field, home of the Tampa Bay Rays.
Oh, I
He
did
had
see this.
he had a 570 OPS at home compared to a 1008 OPS. So an OPS over 1,000 at away ballpark. So I'm thinking, that Miller Park effect, like that we saw with Yelich, where his just numbers blew up at Miller Park. I'm hoping we see that with Willy Adames because we haven't had a good shortstop for the Brewers since like Gene Segura's like 2013 breakout year. It's been abysmal. It's been not. They have had no offensive production. They have Arcia for a little bit of stretches where he does good, and then he just. But
Yep.
other than that, I actually like this trade. I like this trade, and I know JP Fireisen, you give him up, like which you aren't a fan of, but
yeah,
I like
no.
it.
I mean, you said you were a fan, and I was like, like there's good parts about it, but there's also bad parts about it. And here we go. We wouldn't be in this position if we still had Arcia. Like, I don't understand why we got rid of Arcia, but we did, and you have to live with that, and you can't get it back. Jacob Nottingham, though, it made me think of him real quick. This dude is all over the place. I feel terrible for Jacob Nottingham.
I do too.
I mean,
and you
go ahead.
All right. Well, he gets picked up. I mean,
Oh my
we
God.
release him or we DFA him. The Mariners pick him up, and then they DFA him. Then we pick him up. He starts against the Dodgers last week or a couple weeks ago. He hits that home run. He gets DFA'd again, and now he's gone again. So just the love hate story of Jacob Nottingham presented by the Milwaukee Brewers is what we have been seeing so far this past month.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that because of Arcia thing made me think of that. Is poor guy, like this dude. I don't even know what you do with your family and you move and you do this. That's just got to be the worst position in the world, but we'll see. Also, I saw something that Brewers might be looking to get Jesus Aguilar back. Did you see this?
I did see those rumors. You know how happy I was to see those. I was very
Oh,
happy.
yes.
Jesus Aguilar, that'd be great.
They're just rumors at this point, but hey, where would Hira go if we got Jesus back at first?
You know what? He hasn't been performing. Well, maybe I don't know what they do with him. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm confused because then you got Shaw, you've got Adames, you've got Urias, you've got Robinson, you got Wong, you've got Hira. Like I don't want to say we're stacked, but we've got too many guys. If Jesus
we
comes
said
back.
that at the start of the year, Jordan. Do you remember what happened? Everyone got hurt.
And we haven't. Hey, let's not jinx it now. We haven't had any injuries in a while. Like this team's been finally doing pretty healthy. I think the thing was last year, small sample size. They didn't get to play much. Spring training, everything comes back, and now they just came out a little too hot, a little too fast, and they all got hurt. I think they got it out of them. So let's mention Trevor Richards before we get out of here and do our predictions. 28 years old, has pitched parts of 4 seasons with Miami and Tampa Bay. This is terrible. The next thing I'm about to say, he's gone 10-21 with a 4.42 ERA in 70 games, 52 starts, has an atrocious record. And he posts a 0-0 record with a 4.5 ERA and 1 save in 6 relief appearances this season. So I'm not too against those stats. Those are okay. Having him as a reliever, 4.5 ERA, a little high, but it's always higher for relievers, and he's got a save this year, which was his first career save. And I mean, the Brewers aren't going to use this guy as a starting pitcher, but I really liked what they had going on with Fireisen, Williams, Hader, that 1-2-3 combo. Fireisen was really becoming a star. We talked about it right before we went on, potential all-star maybe or consideration. Now he's gone. So, I mean, final thoughts on the trade. I know you said you kind of like it, but I feel like it's one of those where in the long run, maybe it'll pay off, or it'll be like, wow, why did we do that trade?
I've always been a big fan of Willy Adames, and he's got a cannon too. Like he's got a better arm than Urias, I think even. And I really like this trade. Like I think Brewers won the trade. I know they gave up Fireisen, Rasmussen. I'm okay with giving up, but I think Rasmussen and Richards are basically just a swap there. But I'm gonna go Brewers win this trade right now, and we'll of course we'll see how it pays off. But I think they got it. I think this was a great trade by David Stearns, and
I certainly can't say they won the trade yet. I mean, we got to see how the pitcher does. And Adames, I'm fine with him. I've never had a problem with him, but just getting rid of Fireisen seemed a bit too much. But we'll see. Maybe Fireisen does absolutely terrible all of a sudden. Maybe he just sucks now that he's not a Brewer. Time will tell. That's how it always works with trades. So let's look ahead to this week. Brewers, a 4-game series against the Padres, 6:40 tonight, Tuesday and Wednesday, 12:10 on Thursday. There's that afternoon game. No off days this week. because Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we got a series with the Nationals. Noon game on Sunday, 6:05 on Friday, and 6:15 on Saturday. Why can't they just pick a time? Why does it have to be 6:05 and 6:15? Just stick to one time. But Drew, you've been losing 4 weeks in a row. I'm letting you go first again. Try and redeem yourself. Brewers are hot. They've won 2 in a row.
Okay, so I do like. I'm just gonna break down my pick here a bit. We got the Padres number. I say we take 3 out of 4 of them. Yeah,
I'm
what's
not
that?
against that. I think we'll probably win the first 2, probably. I think they'll stay hot a bit.
Well, I think with Woodruff and Burns starting, I think you win those first 2.
Well, I don't know. They don't get run support.
Well, they should get run support, but they don't. Yeah,
What
you're
is
right.
Burns now? Is he 2 and
I'm not
3
sure.
still? Or
I
I'll
know
have to
Woodruff's
look.
2-2 with a 1.58 ERA, which is
Yeah,
just
their ERAs are
disrespectful.
insane.
And I say they win 3 out of 4 with the Padres, and then I say they go 4-3. I say they lose the series. They lose the series with the Nats. They win one of them. I don't know which one they win. 4-3.
You know what? I'll do it. 5-2 this week. Brewers are going to have a hot week. They've won 2 in a row. All they need is a few runs, and they'll have run support. Like you said, Padres, that's fine. We can beat the Padres. We beat them last time. Can we, though? I mean, who knows? We'll have to see. Corbin Burns, 2-3 is his record, 1.79 ERA. That's just insane. This dude has under 2 ERA, and he's got no run support at all. Woodruff is... Oh, it doesn't give me his record right away.
2 with a 1.58.
Okay, I'll take your word for it, but I'll write this down right now. I'm going 5-2 in the last week of May, and Drew's going 4-3. I mean, maybe it's a give me week to you. Maybe it's a real easy one, but I think going bold for once, you're usually the one who goes bold, saying that over 500. And I was like, no, they're not going to do well. And who knows, maybe Keston Hiura gets called up this week. I doubt it, but you never know. It's a possibility.
I'm down.
Will he be able to keep up? I think. So here's the issue, right? Real quick before we go to trivia. The issue with Keston Hiura is, what if all of a sudden he gets into a massive slump again in AAA? You don't want to keep him down there for too long because right now he's on cloud 9. Dude's hitting home runs in game after game after game. He's doing well. He's hitting the ball. Sure, he's still striking out, but everyone's going to strike out. If you keep him down there for too long and he starts slumping again and gets in his own head, he might never be back. So bring him up to the majors, get him going again. If he does poorly, you can always send him back down again to get his confidence up. It's just a matter of time before he gets called up, in my opinion. Anything else, or should we do some trivia?
I want trivia. I'm going to go 5 for 5. Let's go.
Well, I'm glad you said that because we're not spinning the wheel this week. We're doing something special. Milwaukee Bucks playoff trivia. I had this scheduled. Yes. I had this scheduled for our Bucks interview, but it went 40 minutes and I didn't want to ruin anything. I didn't want it to go too long. So I said, nope, I'm going to put it here. I'm not wasting my time on all these questions and not using them. True or false, Drew? The Bucks made the conference finals in the 2000-2001 season.
True.
It is true. They lost to the Sixers in 7 games.
The AI-led Sixers.
Yeah, way back then, huh? Basically when I was born. True, and this is not a true or false. This is you got to pick a team in this one. The Bucks got swept by who in the 1985-86 conference finals? Pick a team.
The Bucks got swept by the Boston Celtics.
They sure did. That is a great call. Back in 85-86. Were you secretly alive back then?
No, I remember, I thought Larry Bird, conference finals, it had to be them.
I thought it wouldn't be too hard, and they're my favorite team too, so kind of a little hint. Next question. When was the last season the Bucks missed the playoffs?
Oh boy, because I know what season it is. I just gotta think which one it was because there is one.
I know what season it is. I just gotta think of which one it was.
That's a good quote. It's either 2014, 2015, or 2015, 2016. I'm gonna say 2015, 2016.
Indeed, it is.
Yes.
That is correct. You picked the right one. We also got a new Instagram follower in live recording, so good for us. Next question. Back to true or false. The Heat swept the Bucks in the opening round of the 2013-2014 playoffs.
True, they did.
Yep.
I was at one of those games. I was at game 4.
Really?
Fun fact. Yes, I was.
Wow. So I kind of gave that one to you there. It was pretty easy.
Yeah.
4 of 4. When's the last time you went 5 of 5? Was it the trivia with Robert Chimick?
Yeah.
Episode 2. So 9 episodes later, will Drew get a 5 for 5? Final question. This is tough. This is a tough question. We know the Bucks' first and only championship was in 1971, right? We talked about that the other week or something. We got that covered. When was the last time the Bucks made it to the finals? And I need you to give me a year.
1972 to 1973.
Oh my God, you missed it by a year. It
Darn
was
it.
73, 74. Oh no. Oh my goodness. That hurts. That hurts. You missed it by a year. 4 of 5. Not a bad way to start season 2 with trivia, though.
Oh my goodness. It's like when I
Clay's
lost by a point in the Shimmick
when you
tiebreaker.
lost in the Shimmick one. Clay's not going to be happy with you. Losing by 1 year. 4 of 5, though. What a way to start season 2. I mean, we've got our wheel coming up.
Yeah.
We'll get to it. I love doing just bonus trivias like this, though. It's all fun, and I like when they're timely and they fit right in. So, I mean, that's all I got. What an episode this week. I thought it turned out way better than I expected because I wasn't that prepared for this episode. I came home from the Bandits and I ate some food and I came to record. Like usually I sit down, look at stats, look things up, but I really didn't have a whole lot of time, but we got it done. Let's go. Episode 11. Finish it off, Drew. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on Apple Podcasts, follow us on YouTube, and follow you on your new Twitter.
Yeah, follow me on Drew Skyberg, DREWSKYBERG. All right, that's all. That's all we got.
That's all we got. Follow me, Jordon Law _PXP, and that's it. Coming up with no bonus episodes this week, I don't believe, but Drew's got a special bonus planned sometime soon, whether it's in the next week, next month, something like that. We're going to keep that under wrap for now. We won't tell you what it is, but week and a half away. Summer sports spectacular, baby. I am so excited. I think I'm going to watch the game on Wednesday. I don't have to work on Wednesday, my first off day in like 2 weeks. I'm like a brewer. No off days for me, but we'll figure it all out. It's coming very, very soon. But thank you all for listening to episode 11 of Jordan and Drew, the Sports Crew, the perfect podcast for you.